They say that the more success you garner, the more haters you accumulate. This has never been more apparent than recently with the release of Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves. I've done my fair share of positive videos on both games and have been overrun with probably thousands of negative comments attacking both games respectively. And I thought, you know what, today I'm gonna take a moment here to read through a few. Today specifically, we're gonna take a look at Wuthering Waves. A few days from now, we're gonna take a look at Zenless Zone Zero, see the mentality behind these haters, and see if there is any validity to their claims. Now, if this is your first time here, consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the little bell notification, that way you remain up to date with every single thing that I post, and I post daily. Do not miss out. Let's go ahead and start this off with a Discord message, or several Discord messages that were left in succession from Destiny Lux L Next World is Mechas. I mean, if you look at the numbers, Tower of Fantasy actually did ludicrously well. It did. The dev team was tiny at the start, but it pulled in hundreds of millions. It did. Then you have stuff like WuWa, where they have an insane staff size. They really didn't have an insane staff size. So the revenue is kind of a potential later issue in that if it slips, even a little quality will take a nosedive. I highly doubt that's the case. Tower of Fantasy started small and expanded after doing very well by contrast, and then now has lost like 99% of its player base and its revenue as well, and are still maintaining and operating with dozens of employees, potentially hundreds. Part of why I'm so annoyed, Wuthering Waves isn't being unique and glommed a lot of stuff from Tower of Fantasy recently. Yeah, 100%. Wuthering Waves is stealing content, features, mechanics from Tower of Fantasy. Oh man, if you have those kinds of resources, you can afford to not get lazy or greedy. Yeah, I mean, this is just like Tower of Fantasy copium to the highest degree. Tower of Fantasy players are upset that Wuthering Waves is much better received, a much better game, and doing much better overall. So they're like, dude, yeah, there's a reason for that. It's because you're taken from our game. Yeah, it reminds me of the time Tower of Fantasy players were saying that WuWa stole wall running from Tower of Fantasy. Oh, this is good. WuWa is dead as expected. Yeah, millions of players, $13 million. Yeah, definitely expected. Here's a bit of a longer one. WuWa already dead. Then we have a reply saying, you mean ZZZ? And then someone else replying with, no, WuWa. Then someone else replying, definitely WuWa. Someone else saying a 70 million drop, but keep coping. The previous guy replied saying still higher than WuWa because now we're attacking Zenless. Genshin is dead, AFK Journey is the meta, cope harder. And since release, Wuthering Waves had its revenue and player count drop by 80%. Yeah, that argument can go both ways, my guy. This argument is one of the most childish arguments I've ever seen. Your game's dead. No yours. No yours. No yours. No yours. Well, you lost a lot of money. So did you. Oh my god. Give me the source for the 80% player count drop. Well, they can't. Cry, HoYoBot. I feel like the majority of arguments seem to happen between Kudo and Hoyo players. On Zenless videos, you have WuWa players lashing out. On WuWa videos, you have Zenless or Hoyo players lashing out. It is the most bizarre thing you will ever see. Even though Zenless and Wuthering Waves are very good games, so is Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, and Punishing Grey Raven. They're all very good games. WuWa is dead, sadly. Along with Genshin and Zenless Zone Zero, the only one that survives is Star Rail. You'll have to repeat that for many years each month. Before we go any further, let me take a moment here to thank my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are phenomenal, and I can't thank you all enough for the support. Now let's keep talking. Zenless Zone Zero dead, LOL. WuWa is dead, LOL. WuWa living rent-free in Hoyo kids' heads. ZZZ living rent-free in Kudo Shield's heads. Says the Hoyo dog mentioning WuWa. Keep crying near dead game. 13 million and dropping, LOL. 30 million and dropping, LOL. These are different people, but the same argument. Your game's dead. No, yours is dead. No, yours is dead. No, yours is dead. You lost. You're down to only 13 million, where you're down to 30. You dropped from 100 million down to 30. Well, you dropped from 30 million down to 13. Like, no hate to these guys, but seriously, they're just. It's genuinely funny. It almost brings a tear to my eyes. Neither of the two games are dead. Oh my god, guys. Cry more. Here's another Discord message from our favorite Wuthering Waves hater, Destiny Luck's Next World is Mechas, who posted a link to a Reddit thread. The Reddit thread is merely a small joke, a little bit of a meme. Yeah, it's a little bit cringy. And the Reddit thread, they go on to state that Kudo really cares about their players and prioritize their players over revenue, which is great. He goes on to state that this is cringy meme stuff and that it worries him. A community appreciating the efforts of the developers and the developers rewarding them with currency, free characters, and a better game overall. This is concerning to this guy. He further goes on to state that it reminds him of the Blue Protocol fan base, which I honestly never really saw any issue with, and I don't know what he's referring to. Even more meme spam, etc. when stuff comes up. I just hope they don't start lashing out at Tower of Fantasy, etc. more in response, because content creators like this guy right here, Stix, apparently, yes, I was name dropped for this one, will work people into a frenzy. I do not understand where this is coming from. I've done dozens of Zenless and WuWa videos. I've never asked anyone to attack Tower of Fantasy. I've never asked anyone, like, what is the mentality behind this? I'm already seeing way too much misinformation spammed about it from Wuthering Waves fans. Yeah, apparently, not only am I working all of you watching into a frenzy to attack Tower of Fantasy, but you guys as well are responsible for far too much misinformation being spammed about it. You guys in specific, the Wuthering Waves fans. Yeah, and apparently you guys are lashing out at Tower of Fantasy. As he stated, he doesn't want you guys lashing out more. Yeah. Shame on you guys. Here's a comment left over on Reddit. I can finally end the WuWa rent-freeing in my head. It's finally dead. Place the candles, unpack the chips and colas. We're paying respects. Not yet, but they are wasting no time working on that goal. Here's another comment on Reddit. WuWa EOS is no longer a joke. The snowbreak route incoming. I feel like WuWa has been nothing but pandering with female characters. Only thing left is fan service skins. Wait. Pandering with female characters. Yes, we got Yinlin, but that was directly after Jian, who's male character. Then we got Jinsa, Zhongli, Zhezha, and then we're getting Shangliao. That's 2 characters for the 4 female characters. Then yeah, we're getting Shorekeeper and Yoha. Then we'll probably get 2 more and then another male. I feel like that's plenty of male characters. Does Honkai Star Rail, does Genshin Impact, does Zenless Zone Zero release a lot of male characters? I feel like they release plenty of females too. They're on the way on that route with hyper aggressive releasing of obviously waifu type character. Yes, I will agree with it. I do agree with that comment right there. Shangliao is obviously a waifu type character. Oh boy, reading through these comments actually genuinely gives me brain rot. It is bizarre, the ridiculous mentality so many of these people have. They just lash out in whatever way they can. Typically, your game is dead, I'm so original. And then you have, of course, the Tower of Fantasy players that just lash out because their game is dead and they need an outlet, something that they can attack. Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, they're too successful for them to, and have too rabid a fan base, I guess. But man, I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing what people are saying about Zenless next. Hey you, where do you think you're going? Don't you close out of this tab. I didn't give you permission to do that. Sit your ass back down. Click one of the 2 videos that are gonna be on screen in just a moment and keep watching my content. Keep enjoying my content.